Welcome to Kay&Zell TV. I'm Kay.
Okay.
He's not gonna take nothing serious. Yes, he will. That's Denzel. I'm holding our son
In her belly.
in my belly right now. So, yeah, I just wanted to do this sit down chat. Yap. I've been asking him if we could just do it. Um, some conversations will be just like, silly, fun conversations, whatever. Others are going to be really deep. I've realized that Denzel and I have so much wisdom to offer and to give, and we just yap all the time. And talk all the time, whether it's about our favorite music, the things that we've heard on YouTube, on sports, whatever it is, or to the wisdom that we've been sharing with others.
Sorry, we had to turn the fan off.
Turn the fan off and close the door. And just the wisdom that we have, that so many people ask us for advice on just a lot of topics that we've gone through our life, and just the wisdom that we give them. So we just were like, hey, and we yap about it all the time too. Like, what advice would you give so and so about this? Or if when your son gets here, what advice would you give him about whatever? So we just wanted to do that.
And I would say that it's not really about us. It's not really about, how good we are or whatever. It's more so just about the experiences that we've been through in our lives, the challenges, the ups and the downs.
Yeah.
Just sharing our insight. It's just not like, we know all. No, it's just like we've been through certain things that other people haven't been through yet, or they're crossing over to currently, or they want to get to that level, or they want to get to that place, and we've been across that place 1,000 times, and they're just asking for, counsel, and what would you do if you were in my shoes, or what did you do? And I'm gonna be honest, for me, 100% of I'd say about 80, let me give myself some credit. About 80% of the time, it's like, this is what I did, don't do this type deal.
Yeah.
So it's just a journey. It's just an amazing thing. And it even just goes into where we're at now in our journey with, moving back into the house with my parents. It's
our first time talking about that.
It's our first time talking about it. It has been a journey. If you don't know, we were here at my parents' house about a year ago, and we had moved out to our own apartment in Woodbridge, and I had lost my job while we had the apartment, and that just threw us all the way off. But the Lord provided and kept us through that whole process.
He really did.
Our minds, he kept our spirit through that whole process and that ordeal. And I ended up finding a great job. I still work there right now. And we got back on our feet. But since, I was laid off for a couple months, it was just hard just getting back on the wagon and jumping back on the wheel. And we just thought it was wise. And it's not even just what we thought. Like, we prayed about it, and the Lord said, like, this is the plan, this is what we should do. Let's execute it.
Yeah.
And we just started moving forward on that, and because we have things in place that the Lord has for us. We cannot share that yet. It is still in the works, but some things were revealed to us, and we're just following God. So that's my first portion on the move.
Yeah. And I'll say about me with the move too. First off, disclaimer, as you notice, y'all see our YouTubes, our TikToks, things like that. And they are really fun, in which we are that side of us. Like, that is a really good side of us too. But one thing I love about just these sit down chats is because we're so real in real life. We talk about the good and the bad, right? Because it all is about life. And this is, like, how can you help someone if you only talk about the good? How can you encourage someone? How can you be a light to someone if you're only like, oh, life is just great and grand and that's it? No, life, you do have problems, you do have trials, you have some uncertainty, and it's okay to talk about those things, and it's okay to say, like, hey, this is where we came from. Like what Denzel just said, this is where we were in our life, this is where we were at a particular moment, and this is how we overcame, and this is what God had, how God provided from us through a season where we really couldn't see a way out at the time. So I think it's really beautiful to share those moments, to share that inside of us as much as we can, obviously. But yeah, so going back to his what he was saying about the move, I honestly really like the move. I remember when him and I talked about it, and we were wondering on when to move, what day, what month, because we had originally already renewed our lease, and so our
Oh
goal,
yeah.
our goal was to already like stay there because we had prior to that too in January we were thinking of moving, we were thinking of a house, like we had so many plans and just praying about where we were going to go and what God was saying. Ultimately we ended up renewing the lease, but by God's grace we were able to cancel it in the nick of time, in the nick of time, so we
Right.
can come here, which was beautiful. Like that was God led. And one thing Denzel wanted to do anyway was to be moved and settled before our son came. That was our whole goal, our whole plan. We didn't want to just be so, questionable. Where are you going? What you doing? Whatever. No, we wanted to stay settled before he comes and finish out this the pregnancy journey. That way when he comes, he's settled. We're with family.
Mm-hmm.
We have help, we have support, his first few months of being here before, other things might happen in our lives and stuff. But yeah, and also it helps out with our goals too. Like he mentioned, we have so many goals out after this and, for this year, the things that God has laid on our heart and stuff. And this was the right move to make. We know because a minute we stepped into this place, I know for me personally, the moment, like the first night I moved back here, I felt the new season. I was like, oh, this feels like a vacation. I remember I was on the phone with my parents. I was like, guys, this feels like such a vacation. Like, I don't know what, like, I just got happy I was right by TJ Maxx. Like, it was just the littlest things, but I knew my spirit was in a new season, right? And I knew the old could not come to where we were. So that's why I was so happy and so thankful when, we were coming to a new season, and Denzel, he stayed for like a couple of days or so. And I just couldn't wait. I'm like, come to this new side because it's a new season and it's gonna be a shift for us. I feel it. So I'm grateful. I'm really, really grateful for where we are right now and how it's been so far. It's been really good.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely feels like a new season, and I agree with you and feel you 100% on the vacation. I just texted you the
He
other
did
day.
text me
I
that.
said it feels like we're on a vacation. Like,
Yeah.
even though I still got to go to work and stuff, things like that, like it just feels like a never ending vacation,
Mm-hmm.
which is great for transition.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'll be honest, the move was a bit different. I wouldn't say difficult. It was some difficulty mixed in it, but it was just different because, Kayla knows me. I'm very particular about how my stuff is organized and
It
how it's
wasn't.
moved, and because I've moved so much in my life. I've moved so much that like I just if I can control one thing, it's how everything is organized. If
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, if I can't control where I'm moving or what it looks like on the
Mm-hmm.
move, I would just like to control knowing where all my stuff is. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that. So it was just a different move. It was different, but God was mixed all through it, man. Like he just provided and he got us out of situations at the nick of time. Like she was talking about the lease. We had renewed the lease, like she said, and it was just like the deadline right
Mm-hmm.
before we couldn't cancel. We were able to cancel, and we even had a debacle with one of the ladies that worked there. She doesn't work in the office. She works at their satellite location, where we were just trying to line things up, and things just weren't lining up. It was a miscommunication, and it wasn't on our part. We had did our part. So the lady ended up getting in trouble. I can't go into detail. So if you
Right.
grasp what I'm saying, you can grasp what I'm saying. If you can't,
Right.
you can't. But the lady got into trouble, and we actually just got favor from the people at the
Yeah.
front
Mm-hmm.
office, like super favor. They were like, if you like, please come back. Like,
They kept telling us
if you
that.
want to come back, you will welcome you back. Do you have to leave? All that. We just
Right.
got
Is this the
favor
reason
from
why
them.
you left?
Yeah, they were like,
That
is
was
the
crazy.
reason is that situation the reason why you left and
Mm-hmm.
everything? I'm like, it wasn't the reason why we left. And the thing that I'm learning as I get older is like not every bridge has to be burnt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like learning
Talk
how
that
to
talk. That's wisdom.
yeah, learning how to like transition without leaving a bad taste in your mouth or
Yeah.
somebody else's
Yeah.
mouth is the best option. It's all
Mhm.
because sometimes when you're younger, you're filled with emotion, you're filled with impulsive decisions and things like that, and you're just like making things because you think you know what's right. But when you're young, you haven't lived enough life to really know
Right.
what's right and wrong. You're just going off of instinct. But that's why we need the Holy Spirit.
Mhm.
The Holy Spirit will tell you
Mhm.
this is not right. You need to go back to that person and ask for forgiveness. You need to go back to that person and forgive. You need to go and mend
Yes.
that relationship.
Yes. Do
And
that.
that's just that applies to us on so many levels
Mhm.
with church, with jobs, even with the place that we just left. Like that wasn't the issue. Everything is fine.
Right.
It was just a miscommunication. We are okay. We're not going to sue. Nothing like that. The
Right.
peace of God be with you. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, and we just transitioned and shifted, and I felt it made the shift easier. It wasn't like so much burden and so much heaviness was on us
Mhm.
as we moved. It just felt light.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's really good. I wanted him to keep talking about that. That was really good. And in that pivot, like you said, it made it like a lot easier for us. And we just, at the end we laughed about it and joked like, okay, it is what it is. Obviously at the heat of the moment, we're like, whoa, we were shocked and everything about what had happened. But we're so thankful that, like I said, Denzel was really level headed. I was really level headed as we just walked and navigated through that journey of what it is. Because at that time too, we're juggling multiple things in our head. We're juggling, okay, we have to pay the, do the rent, where we got this notification that is incorrect, very inaccurate. We have a baby, the house needs to be cleaned. There's so much stuff going, and then we're thinking about the future. So we have everything going on in our heads, and we're like, okay, Lord, how are we juggling everything? How do we balance everything? What is priority? Because everything seems like priority right now. But
Everything is top of the list.
everything is number one. You can't like take it off.
Right,
You
right.
can't take off everything's number one. So you kind of have to try to maneuver. Okay, he's gonna focus on this, and I'm gonna focus on that. You right, and then we're gonna come back together as a team, talk about, okay, you handle this, check off your list. Okay, check off my list. And then go in that, and like what he mentioned, that's really what transitions are like. Sometimes they're really like that rocky or uncomfortable phase because you're shifting. Like you are going from one season to another. And I love how he put that. Like how you end one season is really how you begin another season. So we ended that season with grace. Like we loved it. We loved our old place. No bad feelings, no hard feelings about it at all. And now we're in a new season and we have much more gratitude for where we are and where we're going.
Yeah, I'm just very grateful to God that He gave me a partner and my wife, Kaylin, that is understanding and she's willing to go with the flow. She's willing to follow me as I follow God and follow the Holy Spirit, even when it doesn't make sense. Even when it looks wacky, she still lets me be my weird self and come to the conclusion, and she trusts the conclusion when it's God. But when it's not God and she feels it's not God, she's like, I'm not listening to you. Which is something we're working on. I'm just playing.
Listen, okay. On top of that, I will say this to add to that. When it's not God, I will, and He knows me enough to know why she journals so much. I journal every single thought. It's my prayers to God, and He's answered. I have a list of how much He's answered. So if it's not God, I will immediately, Jesus, I need your help. Or I'll like on my phone app, I'll journal and just pray over it and talk to God and stuff about it. I'll also ask him questions, just to make sure, hey, where his head is. I did that today, where direction we were gonna go, about this weekend.
You did.
Yeah, because I wanted to know what we were doing this weekend. Where his head is. Obviously as a wife, how can I prepare? that was my real question. Was like, how can I help? How can I prepare us for what's to come for this weekend and next week?
Young women, listen. Young women.
Yeah, because I'm
listen.
I was looking.
If you are in a relationship, or if you're looking for a relationship, if you are married or tied to a man that is not following God and following the Holy Spirit, that is the best way to handle it. You don't need to have an attitude, or you don't need to say, no, I'm not listening to you, or just be rude and disrespectful. Go into your prayer closet and journal. That is your weapon. Because when you don't give him an answer, you say, okay, let's pray about it. Let's think about it. I'm not sure about that, but let's think about it more. And then you go in your prayer closet, you pray and you journal and you release it how you need to release it. When you come back, your husband or your mate might have a different answer. That's happened to me several times where my answers just changed, and I'm just like, maybe okay, maybe this is different. And then I'll ask her, I'm like, what do you think? She's like, yeah, I wasn't feeling that. Okay. And then, you know what I'm saying? That's why you need to be on the same page. And
Same page.
God is the head.
Yes. Yes.
God is the head. I follow God. She follows.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, to add on to that too, yeah, exactly what he said. And I would just say one thing about that, because I was really good what he mentioned, but two things actually. One, and I said this on a phone call with a friend as well. Like, it's so important to let them be the head and let them be the man, just like it is so important for them to like allow you to be the woman and the wife. Our roles are very, are different, but we're both very strong in our roles. And he's very strong as being the head, and I'm very strong as being the wife, being, with my role and how I'm supposed to do things. And we're both getting better at that day by day. So I think that's really, really important. And like, remember one time he said this, like this last weekend or something, he mentioned how like advice he would give guys, and he said like, allow them, what did you say again? I forgot what he said verbatim, but like basically like allow them to be soft, allow them to be, their role, and you stick up as a man, handle your things as a man, do what you got to do. And also, to add to that as well, y'all are a team. Like, he's not my enemy in any case of the word, like even in arguments, no matter what, he's still not my enemy. He's my partner. He's we're number one. We're one. We're still a team, right? So I would also say that too. Like, look at life and look at your relationship through that lens, no matter what it is. And that's why I pray so much. I journal so much, because even I need to renew my mind so much when anything comes up. I have to say, okay, if we're one, how are we supposed to navigate things as one? What does this really mean, right? Who is this really about? What is this tack really about? You know what I mean? It really changes your outlook and your perspective. I'm not jabbing or being upset at him. I'm being upset, or I'm looking and being more concerned about the thing that needs to be handled, more than anything. And no matter what it is, I'm a journalist. I'm gonna pray about it. It could be, okay, Lord, I see something, I don't like it. It could, outside, or Lord, in him, Lord, can you help me with that? I disagree. I don't like it. I feel a certain type of way about it. Pray about it, fast about it. Obviously talk to each other about it kindly and everything like that. But make sure you go to God first, especially with how you handle communication and stuff. I'm learning that more and more. That's why I said it, because journaling and stuff like that really helps you. So
definitely, yeah. Like, and then like when we moved into our apartment that we were discussing about earlier, I've had my own apartment, a bunch of apartments. She's had her own place, but for me, I'm like, all we need is a couch, TV, a desk, a bed, and that's me being a man. Like, the essentials. Like, we just need the essentials. We need pots and pans, blah blah blah. We just need the essentials. And then and then she's like, let me be a woman. Let me be nurturing. Let me make this house a home. Let me put up pictures. Let me put flowers. Let's put books in random places, even if we don't even if we don't touch the book. Like, just get one big book, put it on the coffee table.
Aesthetic.
Just for the
with
aesthetic.
Flowers.
Because all my books are stacked by my bed. So, but you need that random book on the coffee table for the aesthetic.
Ladies, y'all know that book.
I'm not gonna belabor what we've already said. A bunch. So, yeah, it's just let her be the woman and you be the man. It's sometimes it is that simple.
We do overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
We really do, as humans, overcomplicate a lot of things. And I love talking to some of my married sister friends, a lot of like around our age and everything, who've been married longer than us, of course, but they simplify it so much for me. And when I come to them with like a question or a problem or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, he's thinking this way, you're thinking that way. Yeah, he's thinking like a man in this way, in this avenue. He's overseeing, the man, the head, the overseeing, and he's looking at it from a different point of view than this. One example, pregnancy. Um, I'm going through pregnancy just as much as he's also going through pregnancy too. It looks very different. It looks very different outcomes, scenarios, everything. I have to carry the baby. My mind, my emotions, my hormones, everything has changed. My mom brain, like my brain shrunk to years, okay? So my level of thinking and things just aren't the same as it normally would be. He's also going through changes himself, right? He's looking at things from a higher perspective now. He has now the role of the husband and the father in him. So he's looking at things from that perspective, longer term. Um, in our case, I don't work, so he's handling the bills, things like that. So it's taking us both through a very, different transition, right? And so how we look at even this situation could be different, right? So he's looking at things like, oh man, this way, and I'm like, but this, that, and so it's almost like we're butting heads. But if you step back and look, like I said, you will see, okay, no, we're both going through this one. It looks different on two different ends. And another thing is he's looking at more above because he has to. I'm looking at the steps, how we get to where he's trying to go. So if you look at it from that lens, it kind of puts you, like I said, when we're not enemies. We just have very different perspectives because we have two different roles and we're going through two different experiences with the same journey.
Definitely.
So that will show you, like, one, grace each other, two, because y'all, and both of y'all are right. Both are right. Just grace each other and look at his perspective and look at her perspective. Like, oh, she's carrying this. This is, it feels this way, whatever towards her. And look at his, okay, he has a lot on his mind right now. So much he's dealing with. He wants to make sure the family is intact. Things are good before the baby gets here. Things need to be in order, and like me, things need to be in order. I need to stretch. My food, I need to make sure I'm regulated, make sure my nervous system is good.
Prune juice.
Tell about business. I need to make sure I drink prune juice daily. Okay, so something like that, and he's looking like, I need to make sure bills are paid. I need to do so. It's literally the same, but just different.
Definitely, and like she said it the best. And I'm feeling I'm gonna close on this note.
He looking at that timer. Because again, we like to yap and talk, but it's all wisdom, you guys.
When you see it as a team and not against each other, you'll realize, okay, we're arguing about the same thing, just from different perspectives. Just like she said it really great. And once you get to that mindset, things start to look different. It's not all peaches and cream. It's not all daisies and roses, because roses really smell like
Oh. Comment if you know where that's from, please.
But yeah, it's still a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful to be doing the journey with you.
Mm-hmm. Likewise.
And I'm going to tickle you when the camera comes off.
You're not.
All right, y'all.
Bye.
Love you.